had this one Canadian client who said that I like my job, I'm happy with what I'm earning, and I don't have any other passions or business. Because many times people tells we are asked like we need to have some passions or something that we can convert into a business. But she said, I mean, even though I don't believe her, she said that I absolutely don't have any interest or anything that I want to do that. So is there a way she can just make a fortune with just the salary income that she has? Now, I said definitely there is a way. I mean, business is a faster way and you can grow a lot more. With salary, there are some restrictions, but that doesn't mean you can't achieve your dream or you can't be rich and have that dream life that you want to have financially. So, so I just walked through the numbers that she had. So I asked her like, how much salary are you receiving after tax? Was $6,000, and what was the rent? $2,000. There were other expenses, $1,000, and she was all in all saving $3,000. Now I asked her like she's paying a lot in rent and her savings 3,000 is also pretty nice. So she was not married and didn't have any other responsibilities. That's why she was able to expend a little less and save a little more. So I asked her like where are these savings going? She was saying that most of it is sitting in just her bank account, which is like if you have taken my course, if you are going to take this course, you will know, which is like wasting your money away because this thing can earn a lot of money for yourself while let it sit idle, right? So first thing I told her that instead of just keeping the money in the savings account, start investing it in index funds or some other maybe gold bonds or something else, but start investing in that. So she went with the index funds, and then I asked her like if she had any interest in learning about investments. Now there are two things that one can do to build more of their wealth. Now, saving $3,000 in investment funds will give her a lot of return. Like if she's looking to retire in 30 years or 40 years, she will get retired with over more than millions of dollars and with just this savings, because eventually when your salary will go up, then you won't have to save more of this. You can just start using the, let's say now you're earning 8,000 after tax. Then if you will just keep this savings to 3,000, then the remaining money you can start building on lifestyle. Maybe you want to get into a bigger house and then you want to spend more on other expenses than you are now, and ultimately you will get that same savings. You will still be able to earn a lot more. Now let me pull up the compound effect sheet so that I can illustrate it in a better way. Now most of the index fund will give you a 10% interest, and let's say you are looking for 40 years to retire, or maybe let's make it 30, but I want you to look at 40 as well. And if you are saving like $2,000 every month, then look at this value. Like total you have contributed based on, so in our case it was 3,000, right? Let me just double check. Yeah. So in our case, like it was $3,000 you're saving every month, and then you are investing for 40 years straight. So that way, what will happen is while you are earning only this much salary, then you might have to compromise a bit. You might have to be like, okay, I need to look out for my expenses. But as your income is increasing, you don't need to increase your savings. You can keep saving the same amount, and you can just start living a more lavish lifestyle so that you're enjoying throughout the process. So if you have a good job, if you want to keep your job and you think that this job is good for you and you like where you're working, then you still can be rich. You can still retire early or later or whenever you want, and you can still build a massive fortune for yourself. So that way, it's like if you're keeping the savings constant for years, then as your salary is growing, as you're getting promotions and bonuses, you can use that money to enjoy your life. So the quality of your life during these 40 years, is not like bad or something. So the quality of life that you will have during this 40 years is not bad, it's great actually. And with just $3,000 saving every month, for those people who can afford to, like you have contributed about $1.5 million. But look at the amount of interest that you will earn on the same thing. Now, if you will look at the amount of interest, that is going to like $17 million. So you see, even if you just invested, you just saved $1.5 million, you are getting $17 million as an interest, if you were just saving this money in your bank account, you would be losing out on this much, my friend. And I don't think any one of us wants that. So that's one thing, like that's something I showed her. And when I showed her this, she was really excited and happy that, okay, I want to do it. And I was like, see, the thing is, if you will reduce the years from 40 to 20, a lot of this will decrease, but it would still be a lot. Like even if you are having what you are getting double of what you are to contributing, but if you will start increasing the number of years, a lot of interest will start to generate, because that's the magic of compounding. The longer you keep it for, the earlier you start, the better it is. Now if you will be like, okay, I'm contributing, let's say first 10 years I'm not contributing anything, but from the next 10 years, so we just saw the 40-year scenario, right? Like in the first 10 years I'm not, if this person started very early, they are investing everywhere, so they have a total of 189 here, that is almost 19 million. Now if this person will go and say like, okay, first 10 years I'm not investing anything, I will just start investing after 10 years the same amount or maybe a bigger amount. So let's say they start investing 5,000. Now they are investing a lot more, but they are not getting that much. There is a huge difference. They are like, earlier they were getting 19 million, now they're only getting 11 million. So even if you're starting small, you should start early. That's the biggest advice if you want to, just be rich with the salary and the savings. Now that said, there's another thing. The story doesn't end here. So there is another part to it, like for this rent part. Now at the time in Canada, the interest rate for mortgage was about 2 to 3%. No, not too much. It's about 2 to 3%. Yeah. So I told this girl one option was relying solely on the compounding magic and just saving that. But if you have some time, there are two things that you can do. One, you can start for real estate, or you can start for uh, stocks that can give you better return. So she was not interested in that much in stocks, but she was interested in real estate. So I told her that the Canadian real mortgage and interest rate were very low at the time, like they were about 2-3%, and the growth in real estate was annual 5%. So you see, there is a difference, there is an arbitrage that she can take advantage of. And in most of the cases, like you can check what are the mortgage interest rates in your area or in your country, and what is the growth rate like in the property values annually. So you will get these figures. So this was the interest that she had to pay, and this was the growth that she will get. So what I asked her, like, okay, you have this $3,000 saving, you are investing in the stocks or whatever, and even if you're not, let's say you are just saving it, and in 12 months you will have 36,000, and in 2 years you will have 72,000, which would be enough for your down payment, because in many countries you will have that first home buyer advantage. In many cases, like you will be only be having to pay the 5% instead of 20% on the amount of mortgage or the property that you're buying. So if we will go by, let's say 5% rule, and then there is 20%, then how much property, what value of property that you can look into and buy. So and this, yeah. So with this much down payment, you can, if you are paying 20% of the value, then you can look to buy a property for 360K, or you can look to buy a property over 1 million if you have that 5% advantage. So depending on your situation, you can look for a property of any of these two after 2 years. You see, this was the first year saving, and this is the 2 year saving. Now if you have the 5%, you can even start looking after like 1 year. Now if you have a good credit score, which I have taught you in my course how you can build on a good credit score, then that way you can get lower interest rate, and you will have to give less of the down payment. So that is something that is still negotiable, but you can easily start to look out for a property between these values easily. Now I taught her the rule that I've taught on property investment, how you can go about property investing, which you will learn later in the course. And based on that rule, I asked her, like, spend your weekends exploring the properties. Even with the first 2 years when you don't have the actual money to spend, just start looking out. after 1 year, once you have the 36,000, just start looking out every weekend, like whenever you get time, start exploring the properties, and what will you get? You will get the free cookies and the open houses. So there's no downside. And she started doing that. And after first year only, because of this advantage, she was able to invest in a property, and that was about $500,000. So then, with that property investment, what was that? It was 3 BHK. So she brought on a 3 BHK, and she was living in one room herself, and then she rented out the other 2 rooms. Now she got a mortgage for 30 years, and with the 30 years mortgage, she was able to get down the mortgage value to about $1,800 something, including all the expenses. So now, earlier she was paying herself $2,000 for her rent. Now she's the owner of this 3 BHK, living in one room, and the mortgage is just 1,800. That is within her rent. So this is the thing, that whatever rent you are expected to give, your mortgage payment should be within that. That way, you are not risking yourself. What if you're not able to rent out the room? What will happen then, right? And the room, she said that she was able to rent it out easily for $1,000 as well, like 1,000 each, and she was making a profit of $200 every month. And I'm saying, like, this is not just a profit of $200 after 2 years or 1 year, because she was able to do it after 1 year because of the 5% advantage. It might be different in your case, but this is not just this is the profit. Your rent saved. The earlier $2,000 that you were paying in rent, that is also saved. So basically, by doing all this math, you got 2,200 in saving, and that is what you get. Now, this is not just the saving, this is increasing saving. Now, even if your other expenses are the same, even if with the salary increase, you're increasing the other expenses, even if you're moving to a better house, then you will be renting out this room out as well, right? And you will be getting income for this as well. So ultimately, you will be making $2,200 extra every month. So this 3,000 has gone up to 5,200 now. You have increased this 3,000 to 5,200 here, and you can start investing this 5,200 now. What will happen is that you can do the same thing over and over again. Like now, because of the first home you have already bought, you're not able to get the 5%, but since you are paying the mortgage on time, you have a good credit score, you might still be able to get something less than 20, right? And then what you can do is, like, after 1 year, you can buy even a bigger house. And in that bigger house, you can do the same maths again, and this can go on and on and on. And I've known this girl for past 10 years, and she has been doing this, and she's really happy with the properties and investment that it has. Now, she doesn't have to go to the job. She's not relying on the salary. Salary is just like a pocket money for her now. Like, she's not saving anything into this, because you see, not only this income that you have now, this house is yours as well. The mortgage will be paid by the people who are living in those 2 rooms and paying the rent, and you will be able to get the value of that house after 5 years or 10 years, because even if you bought at that $500,000 in our case, that value will go up. In 10 years, this value will go double, and then you will have a free house in that sense. Like, you see, if this all is laid down, you can earn a lot of money. And that's what, when I showed her this, then she was more than interested to try the technique and go every weekend to the open houses and look out for what she can buy and what she cannot. And honestly, even if you don't have any experience like this girl didn't have, then still you can do it. It's just about thinking out of the box. It's just about utilizing the techniques and rules that we will learn in this course throughout. So there's a lot of things that I will teach, but you will have to see how you can apply that in your case, within your means, within your country, or within your city, because the application might be different for each and every one, but the rules are universal. The rules are same, and they are applicable to everyone. So let's get into the next lecture.